station.
I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
All right, people, write something on the board. Let's spell it. First letter.
L O G.
What's that? What?
It's time. It's time to have real, honest, open, difficult, and inspiring conversations. It's time for Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Hello, 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 family. Welcome to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. I am your host, Carol Riddick, and I am joined by, you already know, none other than the incomparable Miss Kayla J. And you know, we're sending love. We're sending all the love we can muster in this moment. Thank you for joining us. How about that? Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday, June 21st, this hump day. We're working with some liquid sunshine today, but that's all right, right? That's all right. We don't mind. We don't mind. So family, you know what I like to do? As we get started, I like for everybody to check in. Let me know that you are here and you are ready to join the conversation. So you can call us if you like. You can call me and say hi. You know I love the love. I love all the love you give. So if you want to call, you can do so by dialing 215-634-8065, or you can call me toll free at 1-866 361-0900. And to our family members who are on our socials, you know I'm waiting to see the hellos. Hey there. Nasir has checked in. Hello, brother Nasir. Nasir Butler writes, good evening, Sister Carol and Kayla J. and guests. Peace and blessings. Hello, Miss Cheryl Brown. Hey there, Mama. She writes, good evening, Carol, Kayla J, and Word family. I love it. I love it. I love the love, y'all. Y'all know I do. Ain't nothing but a love bug. So to our family members who are listening and are not watching, you know I'm going to tell you that we feel the love you're sending too, because we do. And it is all so greatly appreciated. And lastly, for our family members whose light is shining just a little dimly today, I want you to know that I'm sending you extra love and hugs today. All right? Extra love and hugs. Excuse me. Oh, to our brother, Friendly Fred, I'm going to check on you. Let me know that you're all right today, okay? You let me know. Let me know that today is a better day. You're feeling better today. So if today is your birthday, now you know I'm going to say happy birthday because I believe we should all be celebrated. We should all be spoiled rotten. You hear me? In any event, if today is your birthday, happy birthday to you. I do know that Craig King and Elle Morris are celebrating birthdays. So happy birthday to the both of you, my beloveds. So family. Oh, we haven't talked about recent events in a minute. So I want to mention a few things to you because, you know, I like to keep the conversations going. Okay. Y'all know that I do. And I like to know what you're thinking and how you're feeling about certain things. So I did share with you last week that the city was going to start a program to serve free meals to students this summer. Well, the program has begun. For those who are unaware, as the school year came to an end, the city of Philadelphia began offering free meals to keep kids healthy and fed all summer long. I love that. I love that. I love that. So the Philadelphia Free Summer Meals Program kicked off yesterday, I believe, at more than 300 free meal sites around the city. Now, for those who are unaware, children 0 to 18 years of age are eligible and no paperwork or identification is required. Isn't that awesome? I love that. I love that. That makes my heart feel good. That's a hug to my heart. I love that. And as we're continuing, I'm going to continue some, feel good stuff. Cinemark Theaters is bringing back its summer movie clubhouse promotion. Now I'm a movie buff, okay, and I'm a big kid, so this is just right up my alley. But they're bringing back their summer movie clubhouse promotion. So participating Cinemark locations will offer $1.50 movies. And during the show times, moviegoers can save $1 on kids' snack packs, along with any size popcorn and drink combos. Now, I don't know where a Cinemark theater is, but I'm going to find one. I'll tell you that. I'm definitely going to find one. So, as I check in again on our socials, Kim, hey there, beautiful. Kim Pender Garner is joining us. Hi, Mama. She writes, Shep's birthday. What? Shep's birthday is the 25th. Happy birthday, Shep. I'm going to have to remember to say it on the actual day. I don't know what day that is, but you know what? I'm saying it today and I'll say it again. Happy birthday, Shep. Raphael, Brother Raphael, is checking in with us as well. He writes, good evening. Good evening, Brother Raphael. And hello, Miss Tigressa, the beautiful and uberly talented. Well, let me tell you something. Kim Pender Garner and Tigressa sings Natalie. Y'all want to hear some singing. You hear me? You hear me? Oh, heavens to Murgatroyd. Tigressa sings Natalie. She writes, hey, you. Hey, you, right back at you, Mama. So I'm sharing, what's in our headlines, some recent events, some good, some not so good, but, just to keep us in the know of what's going on. So, one of the most recent stories is that a Capitol rioter who shocked a police officer with a stun gun has been sentenced to over 12 years in prison. A California man who drove a stun gun into a police officer's neck during one of the most violent clashes of the United States Capitol riot was sentenced on Wednesday to more than 12 years in prison. Family, I like to know what you're thinking and what you're feeling, so let me know. I'm taking a moment to go back to our socials. Lavelle, hi, how are you? Lavelle Jones writes, good evening, superstar. You're the superstar. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Hi, Miss Julie. She's joining us too. Miss Julie writes, I am present and accounted for. Good evening to everyone. And Walt Reeder Jr. Hi there, Walt. He writes, good evening, sounding great, my sister. I just love it. I love you. Y'all know I love Walt. No, y'all don't, but you know now. You didn't know, but you know now. So tell me, what do you think and how you feeling about these stories? We've got a guest that I want you to meet, but I want to know what you're thinking right now. Okay. I want to know what you're thinking and what you're feeling about what I'm sharing. I'm going to share just a few more stories with you before you meet our first incredible guest. This next story reads, Black Americans are more upbeat, but fear worsening racism, a poll finds. An overwhelming share of Black Americans think the United States economic system is stacked against them, and a slim majority believe the problem of racism will worsen during their lives, according to a Washington Post Ipsos poll that explored the attitudes of the country's second largest minority group. Now, that's a topic, that's a whole show right there. That's a show right there. You know it is. That's something we definitely need to break down and talk about. Miss Cheryl, she writes, we know now. I know that's right. Listen, that's what we do here, right? We educate and inform. We keep each other in the know. That's what we're doing here. Two more stories, and then we're going to meet our incredible first guest. So the next story that I want to share with you is that the Pennsylvania House passes the bill to raise minimum wage to $15 by 2026. I don't know why, but I thought that had already happened. Is it just me? I'm a little lost on it. But in any event, it reads Pennsylvania's minimum wage which has remained stagnant for 14 years, could be increased to, wait a minute, could be, shut up, could be increased to $15 by 2026 under a bill passed by the Pennsylvania House on Tuesday night. I don't like that word could. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like the could. That means, I don't like it. What do you think? How do you feel? What do you think about it? And the last story that I want to share with you before we move on is that it's about I-95, the rebuild. It reads, temporary lanes on Interstate 95 will be open sometime this week with permanent repairs to follow. And that comes from our very own Governor Josh Shapiro. Family, what do you think about that? Because I'm just a little, listen, now why can't we get anything else done as quickly? Well, here, okay, 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. Because on one side, I think, why can't we get anything else done as quickly? But on the other hand, I think now, how effective is this rebuild going to be? I might be a little afraid to drive by there if it's happening so quickly. I know, things take time now. Wait a minute. You don't rush. You don't rush it. Don't rush it. Let's get it right. Let's get it right. So, family, for those of you who have just joined us, you are tuned in to Love and Life right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. I'm going to say it just because I like to do so. That's WURDradio.com. Listen. Give me a call. You can do so by dialing 215-634-8065, or you can call me toll free at 1-866-361-0900. Brother Nasir said, he says Sunday, I'm not driving that way. Listen, you and I, okay, are in the same, but we'll be on the same road because I'm not driving by there either, okay? Lavelle is over there laughing. Lavelle, you better type LOL. Lavelle, I know that's right. Listen, we're not going by there. We are not going by there. So, family, what I want to do, since, I've shared a few more recent events with you and we've, tossed a few things around here already, I want you to meet our first incredible guest. We've got some more family members checking in. Mardia. Hi, Mardi. She writes, good evening. Hello, beautiful. Good evening to you, too. I want to share with you that our first guest is a social, emotional leadership and workplace wellness expert who is the CEO and founder of Future of SEL, which stands for Social and Emotional Leadership. She's also the host of Healing Our Future videocast. She is an international speaker who's been featured in Forbes and in the New York Times, and she's here to talk with us about navigating toxic work environments. Family, I invite you to meet none other than the beautiful and talented Miss Future Cain. Hello there, beautiful.
Hello there.
So Future only had that, y'all, family, y'all know me. Y'all know I'm on about 1,000. Well, when I talked to Future prior to the show, just briefly, she only had about 10% of, all of this. I was getting it together. So now I'm in full blast. I'm reading everything and I'm looking it all over, Listen, we had to be caught up. We had to be brought up to speed on everything that's going on. Wait, we've got another family member checking in. Miss Julie, how are you doing, Miss Julie? Miss Julie Audrey Ward Carnegie writes, no, Carol, it is not just you. When Mayor Kenny, City Council, and Governor Shapiro agreed to increasing minimum wage to $15, I too thought that it would be by the year of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Miss Julie, I said, wait, we had this conversation already. I don't understand the repeat. And I really don't understand the could, as the suggestive language. I don't understand that. Like, okay, we might. By 2026, we started talking about that in 2010. What are you doing? What are you doing? So in any event, thank you, Miss Julie, for sharing that with us. So Miss Future, Lord. So we've had a continuing conversation about the workplace in the more recent past right here on Love and Life. And the other day we were talking about racial bias, all kinds of things. So So now here we are talking about navigating those toxic work environments. You really chose a career lane, I tell you. That's what, first of all, that's what I want to know. How did you come? Because when I thought about it, I said, what? She really wants to do something.
Mhm.
Okay, that's like change the world. That's a change the world career. What, how did you wind up in this area? What made this your career choice?
Okay, so I come with over 2 decades of educational leadership experience.
Mm,
So most recently, the last 3 years of my life was at a district level inside a school district where I was the director of social emotional learning for the whole entire school district.
oh, wow.
Then I recently served at the state level in Wisconsin. I had 6 statewide coaches that I was the project coordinator statewide for. And all of those coaches had access to partner with any school district, public, private, charter, tribal within our state to implement systems because I'm very systems
Mm,
thinking to embed.
okay,
That's what we need to do. We need to look at the whole system. So
understood.
they could implement 2 pathways in any school. And the first was comprehensive school based mental health. And then the other was trauma informed social emotional learning. So we went in to help support the school districts put those systems in place through an permanent equity mindset lens.
Okay.
So it was because of all that. Then when the pandemic happened, I was getting people reaching out to me of, can you help? Can you do this panel? Can you do this workshop? How could you do this? So then that's when my business essentially was birthed because I knew it wasn't just the school organizations that needed
Mm,
it. It was organizations everywhere that needed support with helping with the systems for workplace wellness, for mental
sure.
health, for leaders and teams to increase and optimize their social emotional intelligence. So that is how it came about from my
Mm,
over 2 decades of leadership experience in the education field, working with adults and children going into other spaces.
wow.
Mhm.
First of all, that wow. Um that you just said a mouthful right there. You really did. I'm processing what you just shared with us, and I'm
Mhm.
thinking because I'm sure you were bombarded as you
Oh my
said,
gosh.
people were asking like, "Well, can you help? Can you help?"
Mhm.
I cannot imagine in what way and just to what degree you were
Mhm.
bombarded because, after the initial shock
Yeah.
we all had, then everybody became frantic. We were all in a panic.
Mhm.
We were all in a panic
Mhm.
about what to do next, where to go, how. Well, I think some of us were thinking, how do I think? How do I breathe?
Right.
So, and you're talking about workplaces, you're talking about
Mhm.
our babies, you're talking about,
Yeah.
which is a huge responsibility. So if we don't know where to go from left to right, then I can't
Yeah.
imagine what you were being asked to do during that time
Mhm.
to help, especially to help corporations stay afloat.
Mhm. I will tell you, in all of my years in education, which has been many, right? It's over 2 decades. It's a long time.
A long time.
Never in my life had I worked so many hours when the pandemic hit, because what everybody has to realize is there was no playbook. And
Right.
especially when you ask school system, healthcare systems to completely evolve and change and pivot on top of not only pivoting the people internally to give them the education that they need and the support they need while everybody's watching. Because
Mm,
remember, every kid essentially went home, and now you have all eyes critiquing,
sure.
second guessing, questioning, what are you doing? On top of, I knew when that hit, it was March 13th, we had a school district wide professional development for restorative practices.
Okay.
So that day we shut down. That was the day the world shut down. We came back as a leadership team the following week. And I said, everybody mark my words. And I was correct with the data now. We are going to go into a mental health crisis. And
Hmm.
I was saddened by my state in Wisconsin. That's where I'm based. Our state was saying the slogan when the pandemic first happened was safer at home. And I said, safer at home. Let's finish the sentence. For who? Because,
thank you. Wait, I
okay.
want to just, and I don't want to interrupt you, but I must do so because we have to take just a short commercial break. Family, listen, if you have just joined us, you're tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. Listen, if you want to join us in the comment section, feel free to do so, or you can call us. But whatever you do, stay with us, okay? Because we'll be right back.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
I'm Carol Riddick, the host of Love and Life. And guess what, family? I will be live. That's right. I can speak with you about the real facts and honest opinions on dating, sexual health, casual and committed relationships. Join me Monday through Thursday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The conversations will be served on a judgment-free platter and seasoned with unapologetic realness. So join me Monday through Thursday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. That's WURDradio.com. Miss Kayla J has let me know that we have breaking news. Charles Blockson, prominent historian and scholar, dies at 89. Oh, family. We're going to keep you posted on that information and the news that will follow that headline. But if you did not hear me, what I just shared is that Charles L. Blockson, prominent historian and scholar, died at 89. We will keep you posted, though. We're definitely going to keep you posted. I want to take a moment just to go back to our socials. I've missed some of our family members who joined the conversation. Kim Pendergarner writes, the kids need all the help they can get. The trauma that they experience on the norm affects their mental growth. It's sad seeing some of these kids act out like they do and deal with adult situations at a young age. Meanwhile, their education suffers. Kim, I could not agree with you more. Brother Gary Bryant writes, hello. Good evening, Carol Riddick and WURD family and guest. And Jack Drummond is saying hello to us as well. He shares continued love light and life. Wahida Alfred says hello too. Hi there, beautiful. Black Beauty says, hey y'all, says hello. Anthony Zagami writes, hey WURD family. Hello, Carol. Keep doing what you do. Oh, thank you. You're doing a great job. I really enjoy your program. Thank you. I'm so glad that you do. Astrid, hi there. She writes, hello, beautiful. I'm listening to you for the first time and I really enjoy it. Thank you, Astrid. Thank you. And Clang, I don't know who Clang is, but Clang writes, hey, Carol, it's me. Oh, Corey, thank you. Okay. It's me, Corey. Hi, Corey. He writes, I believe the problems we have now with our youth are generational and started with the crack epidemic. That's an interesting comment. That's definitely something we should explore in conversation and discussion. I want to take a moment to go to our phone lines as well. I believe we have some family members waiting to join the discussion. Are you still there?
Yes, sir. Carl, how you doing?
Friendly Fred, how are you today?
I'm okay. I'm just a little tired. I'm just tired, I just want to say, it's like family education and the way children develop and grow and parenting and learning about parenting and stuff like that there. And our children listen too. And a lot of our children know we are the mothers and fathers of our children. Our great-great-grandchildren know we're the mothers and fathers of our children. And I just want to say this again and read Isaiah 60, verse 14 in the Bible. Anyway, I just want to say, we are family. It's all about love, not dominating. We're showing love and guidance for everyone else in the family and sharing happiness and togetherness and loveliness and forgiveness and peacefulness. And Mama used to say, take your time, young man. Don't you rush to get old. And all the things you ask, you will know someday. But you got to live in a patient way. And things you don't know, someday you will grow. And she told me little things like saying hello and thank you, please. And all I want for you is understanding, just to communicate. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3, ABC. The glorious freedom of the children of God, which are the family of God. God's design for the family, God's family plan, God's rescue plan. Stay young at heart and his family forgiveness. And the Creator personally named each star and constellation and placed them in the night sky to tell us the story of his plan for mankind. Our loving God knew that although he would give man choices, we would not always make good ones. And I viewed a galaxy of stars, and so many came before as bright as stars to show us what was light and to show us who we are. And this is the morning light and black butterfly.
Friendly Fred, thank you for always sharing positivity.
So much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Love
Thank
y'all.
you. Love you as well. And glad that your spirit is lighter today. Thank you so much for calling us. I believe we do have another family member waiting to talk with us as well.
Hi, Cal.
Ron, how are you?
Yes, Brian is doing fine to the utmost. I'm sorry to hear about Charles Blockson, but he's written something for me. And I'm going into the Charles Blockson library. We've been working on it for quite some time. And Dr. Charles Blockson written something because he knew about my story with the lady that raised me. And I thank him for that. And I thank all the people that have gone on have given so much. So that's the one, just like Dr. Lomax written something for me too. So I thank that. But I want to say to you and your guests here, I don't mean to be disrespectful. I would never be that way because I asked to make my comments before your guests come on. But I'm glad you allowed me to do it at this time. I came out of, I'm going to be assembling with the Philadelphia Corporation for the Elders. And it's just a privilege that I'll be assembling down there with so much history, the different ages, 75 and on and on. So that's a blessing that God has given me and allowed me to be in that proximity as I reflect back on the history and say some words to them, hopefully, that thank them for what they have given to their families and given to our country down through the years. You know, Cal, I just came out of my fast once every day. I mean, once a week.
Okay.
One day out of the week I fast, and I go into my meditation, and I go into my care process, which I've been doing that since I was a child. I need to ask you if you could do me a favor. If not, if anyone listening, if they could do me a favor, I never asked for anything. I would like to get a copy, and I know that you're in the musical world, so you would probably know how to do that. I want to get a copy of Arthur Prysock, all his music, of Arthur Prysock when he was playing with a Count Basie, that Arthur Prysock, if someone can do that. And Cal, are you familiar with the name Chuck Baker, the Caucasian man that used to sing?
Yes, I am.
That's what, and one other thing, if you could get that video, what they did was his story, his love life story with the lady that cared very much for him. I had it with it. I put it somewhere and I no longer have it. So if you know anyone, I'd be more than glad to give them a token of appreciation if they could get the Arthur Project, because I don't know how to go on the, the website and do all that stuff.
Right.
Someone would do that for Ryan. I would give them a token of appreciation and get the video of Chuck Baker. That love story and that song he sung in there means so much. One of the songs he sung meant so much to me. And I'm looking forward to it. We're going to be doing some work this weekend. Remember in your life, it's very nice if you give. Just like you give time to Cal Show and give time to all the other hosts on this radio. That's the gift of life. Because I say this, no foolishness. Cal just love when people care for her. Cal to South Philadelphia, and I hope anybody that's listening in authority include Cal's name and those people that have come out of South Philadelphia to go in that library they want to put up for Marian Anderson. Cal is in the proximity. This woman never left her community, and her mother and them. What a wonderful thing to say. Thank you, Cal. And many other artists that came out of South Philadelphia. My cup runneth over. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ron. Oh my goodness, Ron, thank you. We love you. And I thank you too for always sharing positivity with us. I believe we have one more family member that would like to join the conversation. Are you still there?
Hi, yes, I'm still here. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for calling.
I'm calling because this conversation really intrigued me, just as a person who's worked in corporate America and has been that only Black person. You're like questioning, like, do I speak up? Do I not speak up? I have to advocate just for future Cain. Like, I'm a big fan of yours, and I follow you because I know that you're one of the Black voices on LinkedIn. And just with you being the only Black woman in the whole, as a director on the school board, what was it like, doing that every single day and fighting for not only us, but for our kids, like to prevent them from erasing our history? What was that like?
Okay. Can I answer, Carol?
Yes, absolutely. Please do.
I think it was a test to my character. It was a test to my character. It was a test of my evolution, because for me personally, from the moments where I grew up in Pennsylvania, I'm from Pennsylvania. I was there for 30 years of my life before I moved. And I was the first every place I went. And in many spaces where I am at, whether that was school, elementary, middle school, high school, college, I was often the first or the only. So sitting, leading a statewide team and sitting in meetings where you're one of 60 to 100 people is a heavy weight to bear. So I think I sat in many emotions, joy that I could carry a torch for others to follow, and at the same time balancing that impacts and could impede one's wellness, while also knowing I have to do as well as I can, because I have the weight of others that may be able to get the next opportunity or not get the next opportunity, possibly based on how I show up. It was also inspiring and rejuvenating to have the children who very much saw me and themselves in me, because I went through school and didn't see me until I was in college. So to see someone that you can relate to, that maybe understands your lived experience a little better, is more culturally responsive to who you are, and your family practices and beliefs and values is a game changer for not only one's mindset, but one's psychological safety and emotional safety and well-being.
Thank you for that response, King. I was about to ask if you had a follow-up question. Did you want to ask something else?
I just appreciate that. I appreciate all the impact that you have and the fight that you have. You could have given up, but you just keep going. And I pray to be able to fly out and see one of your talks one day. You're a true inspiration. So thank you. Thank you both so much. I feel blessed.
No, thank you. Thank you for calling and for contributing to the conversation. Family, this is what we do here. This is exactly what we do here on Love and Life. What I say to you is that, look, there aren't many safe spaces, quite honestly. And if I don't know, we're going to find out together. I can tell you that. I can tell you that. I don't claim to know everything, but I do know that right here, this is where we share information. This is where we talk. This is where we let it go. This is where we feel it all. I mean, I tell you when I'm having a not so good day, or, when my spirit is a little dim, I'm vibrating lowly. I tell you all of that because I want you to be informed. And I believe that when we communicate effectively, it helps us to adult better and properly. So this is what we do. We talk about everything here. I want to take a moment to go back to our socials. Miss Lily is joining us as well. Hi, Miss Lily. She writes, good evening, Carol Riddick, Kayla J, special guest, and WURD family. Gary Bryant, hi there. He writes, good evening, sister. And Don Reddy. Don Reddy is waving hello, and we so appreciate that as well. All of the love. Listen, family, if you have a comment or a question or even a suggestion, let me know. Okay. And I mean that. And you can do that by posting in our comment section, or you can call us. You can call us right here at 215-634-8065, or you can call us toll free at 1-866-361-0900. Future, I know we have so much going on. I know. But I'll tell you this, family, because Future's here today, but she is coming back as well. She's going to come back and visit with us again. But I have so much I want to ask you, but I was curious because when I was reading, reading that you're in Wisconsin, my first thought was, and please, family, now y'all know I'm honest with you. I'm very transparent. I don't know anything about Wisconsin. Okay. I've not been to Wisconsin, but when I think of Wisconsin, I don't think of Black people. I just don't. I know that we live there, and I know a few that are from Wisconsin, but I just don't feel like there are many of us that we are represented well in Wisconsin. I'll say that. I just don't feel like we're represented well in Wisconsin. So when I think about what you're doing globally, I can't imagine how you navigate daily in an environment that where you don't have much support. That how how do you how
Woo! Okay,
I mean, because you're talking about not even the workplace. That's outside. That's
everywhere. It's everywhere.
How?
A caller called in, and I don't know who it was, that said, I'm going to meditate. And technically, I'm a certified yoga instructor. So meditation and my breathing techniques and my knapsack of tools that I have to center myself.
Sure.
Has kept me in a positive mindset to continue this. But you are correct. We have less than 7% Black people here. And where I live, I think I'm 1% or 2%. Okay. So that's important for people to understand and know. The other stats that I give people are that Milwaukee is one of the most segregated. It's usually 1, 2, or 3 of the most segregated city in our whole entire nation. On top of, I know educational data, we could talk data all day long. So if you look at our nation's report card for Wisconsin students, who are the global majority and more so Black students, it is the most inequitable state most inequitable state, according to the nation's report card for our students, behind District of Columbia. And when I talk to people, they're like, well, that's because of COVID. No, actually, I went back to the data 2 decades. Okay. And we have been in the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pretty much most inequitable. So it is a struggle. On top of 95% of the educators are white here, which means 5% are other, global majority, but, or I should say, and our students, 68% are white. So there's a gap in even who our students are seeing in front of them, which is why I continue to stay, which is why I continue to advocate, which is why I continue to say I will support whatever school districts and organizations that work with schools want the support, because my view as a person who has been able to get to the state level and go through a variety of different levels in the education sector and being who I am, a woman, but not only a woman, a Black woman, is unicornish. And I know that. And I have a very different view than most people from reading books. Experiencing it is very different than hearing about it or reading about it or listening to the podcast.
Indeed. Indeed. Oh my goodness. Family, listen, what we're going to do right now is that time again. It's time for us to take just another short commercial break. So stay with us, okay? Because we will be right back.
Hey, son, how are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. Metamorphosis, the loss of who you thought you was.
When your kid can't find the language, help them find the lyrics. Listen to the Sound It Out album and get tips and tools to start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
Pollution from trucks is a public health crisis. Diesel-burning trucks belch dangerous levels of pollution, and communities living near ports and along freight corridors breathe especially high levels of this dirty air. But this crisis has a solution. My name is Sasan Sadat, and I work for Earth Justice. I'm working to clean up our air quality, particularly for communities that bear the burden of diesel pollution. For the sake of our lungs, our health, and our climate, the future of trucking in this country has got to be zero emissions. Until then, I will never rest.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit defending the environment and people's health. Earth Justice is fighting to save lives, protect our climate, and strengthen our economy through the shift to zero emissions. If clean air matters to you, visit us at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
June is LGBTQIA Pride Month. Pride Month began as a way to honor the 1969 uprising in Manhattan. On June 28, 1969, the NYPD raided the Stonewall Inn, a gay bar in Greenwich Village. The officers forced the patrons out of the establishment and onto the street. The gay community, frustrated from the sustained harassment by the police, sparked a 3-day riot. This incident was the tipping point for the gay liberation movement. This month, those who identify as LGBTQIA, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, and asexual, celebrate being who they are. Let's continue to create safe spaces for this community to work and to live. This Pride Month vignette was brought to you by Comcast.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love is.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. Yes, here we are. We're talking with none other than Mrs. Future Cain. OMG, OMG. We're so happy to have her here. And I know the time goes by so quickly. So, what I'm going to do first is go to our socials and read comments, and then we're going to go to our phone lines. Robbie D shares, hello. Hope all is well. All is well. No complaints here. Or as my mother would say, oh, I'm fair to middling. Sherry, my cousin, Sherry Riddick writes, hello, Carol and Future, because the world has changed so much, especially in our communities and with social media. We heard the expression, it takes a village, but what can the village do now to assist our school age children? That question right there. What can we do? The last comment I want to read is from Nika. Nika Wilds writes, another great conversation and show. Sherry, we're going to come back to that question because I want to talk with our family member who's been waiting to talk with us and join the discussion. Are you still there by any chance?
I'm still here, Carol.
Hi, Miss Audrey.
Yes, you're speaking with Audrey.
Hi, Miss Audrey.
Hi. And to your honorable guest, yes, I echo every word of the caller who spoke about there's so much that is weighing on you. And you're handling, and not handling is a bad word for me, and your compassion of caring, it speaks volumes about those two decades, more. I'm trying to say so much more than 2 decades of dedication. And with that, I want to say, shame on you, Wisconsin. Shame on you for you not getting behind Future Cain, behind those children. I'm reading that 1.2 million students were identified as homeless. I looked up the information. I'm reading that 74% of Wisconsin is Black. So what that is saying to me is that you're putting on a front when you talk about politics, when you talk about particular politics. Yet when it comes to standing behind the children who are our future, you're not doing that. All those nonpartisan organizations in the state of Wisconsin, without a question or a doubt, the support should have come immediately. And I'm done.
I feel you.
Miss Audrey, I echo your comments. I echo your frustration. I echo everything that you just shared, quite honestly. You know, that's why we're having these conversations, to see what we can do and where we go next, where we go from here. Just thank you so much for calling in and sharing with us while we have Future here, because she won't be with us for the entire show. I do want to ask a question of you. I'm curious to know what kind of suggestions you have for those of us who are in a toxic work environment.
I think of 2 things. I know, because I work as a certified culture facilitator. So I've gotten, especially recently, I've been in a lot of organizations doing culture facilitation and then assessments.
Okay.
For people to be proactive and preventative, or because the situation has happened and now I'm getting called in to see now what the culture is, because there's spoken and unspoken. So I think there's toxic workplaces or a toxic boss, while also some people might be listening tonight that are actually in a toxic relationship that's not at work. Okay. So it's a variety, or you could be in a toxic relationship outside of work and going into a toxic workplace too, which is a double whammy. So I think the first thing that I would suggest to you is to journal and do some inner searching of questions. What do you want in a relationship? How do you want to be treated? How is this current making you feel? And same with your workplace. What did you want in a workplace? Does this align to your mission, your beliefs, your values? How are you being made to feel? And gather that information to see, is this filling me up? Because oftentimes I've seen and worked with individual people or organizations where there's people in the organization or individuals that literally their soul is being depleted by staying in that place that they're staying, whether it's a relationship or a workplace. And I don't think any human is supposed to be half filled or destroying themselves mentally, physically, emotionally to be in a space to get money or to think that they're being loved. So I think journaling to see where your heart lies. And then if you are in a workplace, I think it's important, as you said earlier, Carol, to have dialogue. But in order to have dialogue, you have to know what your expectations are, how you've been treated, how you feel.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a great point, actually.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness, Future. Okay, so I'm looking at the time and I know we only have a few minutes left. Okay, so family, let me tell you this because Future, like I said, she is coming back to visit with us again, okay? So we can talk with her more. But while we have you and before
Mhm.
you leave us, would you talk with us about the future of SEL?
Mhm. So the future of SEL is my business, and we help support whether that's individuals. We do partnerships with a lot of organizations
Okay.
to either go in as culture facilitation and do an assessment. We also help people implement systems in regards to workplace and employee wellness, while also working with the teams or individuals through coaching or consulting to help them build their social emotional intelligence, because that's in our eyes and views where it all begins. If you're not self-aware, you can't change a system. If you're not self-aware, you can't say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was actually giving you a microaggression,"
Right.
or "I am being sexist or racist," or whatever other intersectionality that I am not being equitable towards. You don't know it because you're not self-aware, which then impacts humanity and the social awareness of all. So we are partnering with organizations and people that want to be proactive and preventative in regards to that. And there's lots of different organizations we've been able to partner with that have said we're going to be preventative and proactive, whether that's through workshops or facilitations. So there's been a variety of different things.
You know, I'm always curious to know,
Mhm.
has there ever been a corporation with which you've worked that
Mhm.
was resistant to the change that you suggested or some of the efforts that you suggested to them
Mhm.
to help make them self-aware and to have a better workplace?
Mhm. So when we come in and do a culture facilitation, we give an assessment. And
Okay.
in the assessment, they basically get back recommendations from what we have found as a
Sure.
third neutral party. And sometimes there's been organizations that have had to take longer to sit with themselves to say this is what it's going to be, or there's been some hard finds of this person i- is doing things and they shouldn't be allowed to continue to work here if you're going to stand on your
Mm.
beliefs and your missions and your values, because then we uncover things because people feel more comfortable oftentimes talking to a neutral party, not
Sure.
talking to people within the system, so things are uncovered then. And when they're uncovered, then you have to present the findings of the harm that is being caused internally.
Wow. Oh my God. Let me tell you something. I just want to echo every single compliment that you've received tonight because seriously, you're a beacon. You truly are a beacon. And I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. I really don't know how you do it. But family, as I have said a few times, Future is going to come back and she's going to
Mhm.
talk with us more just about how she does what she does and how she's able to do what she does because I have so many more questions about
Mhm.
navigating toxic work
Yes.
environments. You know, I cannot imagine, especially as it pertains to someone's own mental health. Like, how do
Mm.
you get up every day? You know, how do you get up every day to go into a place where you know you're met with all sorts of
Mhm.
resistance, and I'm talking about in different areas. You know, how do you do that? How do you do it and continue to do it? It has to wear on you. It has to beat you down.
Yeah.
It has to beat you down. So, family, y'all know I don't want to let Miss Future go, but we have another incredible guest coming up too. We do. But Miss Future, you are coming back to visit with us again. Is
Next
that correct?
week. next
yes,
week.
right. That's right. That's right. She's coming back next week. Okay.
Can I give one shout out?
Please, you can give 10.
Okay, I want to give a shout out one to you, and okay, that's my first shout out to
Thank you.
Niall, and okay, because he is amazing. I know people may not know him, but he's behind the scenes. And then Ashanti, I want to give a shout out to her too. So hey. And then the last thing is there's a lot of organizations that are partnering. So one of the places I want to shout out is Quest Workspaces. They've partnered with my organization to they have luxury office space rentals essentially. And we're going to be doing in-person events throughout this upcoming year and next year. And they are partnering with us to allow us that opportunity. So we will talk more next week about that.
Okay. I was about to say, don't you leave us hanging. Don't you dare do it. Don't you do it. Okay. You saw me like, what? Family, listen, we have to let Future go. But what we're going to do is we're going to take another commercial break because it is time for us to do so. But stay with us, okay? Because we will be right back, and we have so much more great show. Stay with us.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
In honor of Black Music Month and the 50th anniversary of hip hop, this is Blackademics. Give me a beat! The thing that frightened people about hip hop was that they heard people enjoying the rhythm for rhythm's sake. Hip hop lives in the world, not in the world of music. That's why it's so revolutionary. That's a quote from legendary drummer Max Roach. Before we dive into hip hop's 50-year history, we need to understand its foundation. The roots of hip hop, like many other musical genres, are planted in the soil of African rhythms and oral traditions. According to contemporaryafricanart.com, in Africa, drums hold a deeper symbolic and historical significance. They herald political and social events. They are used as an alarm or call to arms, stirring up emotion for battle and war. Drums are about communication. For centuries, the talking drums were a primary source of communication between tribes used to transmit messages, sometimes across great distances. When Africans were enslaved in America, the drum continued to be an important form of communication across great distances. These rhythms still speak to us today.
They praise the music. This time they play the lyrics.
Legendary drummer Max Roach.
So the term rap music is not applicable to where they are because they deal with the spoken word. The fact that they have that rhythm going on attracts people, so everybody is now become part of the dance community. So somebody said it's rap music. But actually, it's the art of the spoken word. It's what they're dealing with. And the stories they tell, they talk about their life in our community today.
This Black Music Month vignette was brought to you by the NAA Male Wellness Agency, WXBN Artists to Watch podcast, PICO, the Pennsylvania Lottery, Keystone First, Posigen, and Comcast. We're bringing joy and power to the people. This is WURD Radio, 900 AM and 96.1 FM, WURD, Philadelphia. Celebrating 20 years of progressive Black talk media. Streaming online at wordradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
This is your celebration.
Hi, I'm Nicole Hannah-Jones, and I want to wish WURD a happy 20th anniversary, and thank you for serving your community.
I'm Val Gay from the Barnes Foundation, and I want to wish WURD a happy 20th anniversary.
This is Eric calling in to wish WURD a happy 20th anniversary.
I'm Karen Mayer, business manager at WURD Radio. Happy 20th anniversary, WURD. Looking forward to the next 20.
We're celebrating 20 years of progressive Black Talk Media.
Let me tell you something, and don't you ever forget it. Success is nothing without someone you love to share it with.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. Welcome to the top of the second hour of Love and Life right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. That's WURDradio.com. At this time, we're going to have a special guest join us to talk about the passing of our beloved Charles Blockson, a prominent historian and scholar. If you have just joined us, I did mention just a short while ago, if you will, please welcome Dr. Aaron Smith. Hello there, Dr. Smith. How are you?
How are you?
I am well, thank you. I will not complain.
I hear that. I'd be remiss if I didn't say first and foremost that I'm a fan.
Oh, God bless you.
Yeah, I
Thank you so
appreciate your
much.
work. I used to be an intern at the FM station when Kobe Cove and Helen and all them were doing events with you. And we were always so pleased, with the way you came through and do what you do. So I wanted to make sure I got that out the way first. You are appreciated, as Tupac would say.
God bless you. Thank you so much. As are you. As are you. Thank you so much for joining us to talk with us about this sad
Giant,
news.
right?
Yes,
A
yes.
lion, a major figure in the great African tradition of remembrance, right? We talk a lot about Sankofa. And in order to move forward, we got to go back and fetch it. And I always like to celebrate lives well lived, It's so many people that don't find their purpose. There's so many people that don't even attempt to receive their calling or answer their calling, even when they hear it clearly. There's so many people that are striving to actualize a vision or a dream, but it never comes to fruition in their lifetime. There's so many people that just want to be regarded as a full human being, So for this man, born in 1930s, 1933 to be exact, and people know about the times and, the types of setbacks and obstacles that existed for Black people in general in terms of literacy and commemoration, right? And all the things that he represented and stood for and dedicated his life to. It's a great template and a great inspiration for the young people of today to keep that torch lit, to take that baton and run, that race marked out before them with persistence. I was at Love Park yesterday and we were giving some scholarships, to some of the young people, the Philadelphia Education Fund. And I was just thinking to myself, this is the reason, why people do what they do. We're benefiting from a legacy of the Lomax family, right? Just on this medium, right? People do things and they plant seeds and, it's been said, don't cry for me, right? There's a time, a season for everything. Now, I know that there are many with heavy hearts, and condolences and prayers go out to the family. And I was pleased to see that the date of transition was different than the date of reporting. I really appreciated that, because I know there's a lot of people who are in touch with the family and were aware of the occurrences, in terms of what the family was experiencing. But when people have that kind of contribution and reputation in the community, it's only right that they receive that grace and that respect. And I'm pleased that we're not out here acting like TMZ, right? We're really caring for and honoring our ancestors. So for those that don't know, the Blockson collection is one of the largest collections of African-American memorabilia in the world. And he was the oldest of 8 children, and a similar story to a Malcolm X or John Henry Clark. At one point, he asked the teacher, what Black people had contributed to civilization, and he was told nothing. And he dedicated the rest of his life, to proving that such was not the case.
Wow.
John Henry Clark said he had the same experience. He asked about, where his people were and what they had done, and he was basically told they hadn't contributed anything at all. So I think it's really good for young people, especially, to understand that the road, wasn't paved with gold for the elders, and they say life, it wasn't a crystal stair, right? But a lot of times people see auntie and they see pop and they see, they look like they well adjusted, I don't know if they're well adjusted or if they just fully accepted the fact that it is what it is, and they're gonna make the best of it, right? So for the young people to feel like they're up against a lot and people don't believe in them or think much of them, understand that you can do more than just prove them wrong. You can transform reality for society internationally. And this is what Charles Blockson did. He collected everything from, the shawl said to be worn by Harriet Tubman that was donated in DC at the museum, to first edition prints of, authors like Phyllis Wheatley and W.E.B. Du Bois. And it's just a beautiful thing for somebody to be able to leave a piece of their excellence and their brilliance in perpetuity. They once said that we were going to be in bondage in perpetuity. We flipped that around, right? So now you have his excellence, his diligence, his scholarship in perpetuity, right? It's not so much of just missing an individual. When somebody dedicates their lives to creating something that could be, benefiting generations, from time immemorial, like we can always look back and attend, events at the Blockson collection, and we can always look at the example that he left for us. That when people tell you no, and people tell you you didn't and you can't and you couldn't, you don't get mad. He didn't try to fight everybody. There's no stories about him cussing everybody out, right? People need to hear this kind of stuff. What you do is you roll up your sleeves and you get to work, and you let your work speak for you. You let your work argue for you. You let your work be your testimony and testify on your behalf. And we can only be so lucky that when we transition, that we've left behind our heart and our soul through the greatness of our work. So Charles L. Blockson, one of a kind, and we just thank you for the dignity. That was the era of like Sidney Poitier, and I dare even say Paul Robeson, with the strength of voice that he came with, right? So there were certain ancestors that he kept the legacy of and was channeling for his generation, and beautifully and brilliantly passed it on for generations to come. So I remember the first time I saw him, I was, I attended Temple University, and the students used to register in Sullivan Hall. Back before the internet, you had to wait in line all day. You remember what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. I was one of those students.
You wait in line all day, and then when you get there, they say you should have been in the other line, right? So the thing is over now, So we were all in line, and this Black man walked by, and he just had an air of confidence and comfort. I remember, like, even as a young freshman, thinking, I want to be like that, because he was, he was telling people what to do. He was in charge, he was, and he wore, walking in authority, we like to say, right? And he never shrank for anybody. He was always, a full, proud African American man, in the most traditional and most powerful sense of the word. But he was always gracious and always humble, right? And always soft spoken, and was never, the type of person that thought he was better than anybody else. He would stop and talk, and I always think that's important, especially for the academics to know. I know down south they used to say to the young people, "Don't go to that college and come back stupid."
That's
sometimes they get that degree,
That's real. That's real.
Good to know that some of our greatest, like with Schomburg and others, our greatest curators and collectors, and even like Dr. Maleficate Asante, he always taught me the same way. Always be gracious to everybody. Always respect people. And you never know who you're going to need. And everybody is required to make things work. So don't think just because your position might have a spotlight on it that it's more important or makes you any better. So Charles L. Blockson, a master historian, collector, lecturer, family man, right? And I think that's always important, because sometimes you have such a large shadow that you cast throughout the world that you forget, that this is somebody's loved one. And I think that's the most important acknowledgement, because oftentimes with great people, they have to have a different type of sacrifice where they have to share those that they love with the world in a way that other people don't understand. And I know it happened with Tupac and the Phoenix Shakur. It happened with Coretta. You know, just always having somebody on the go. And when you're with a great person, or when you love a great person, there's some sacrifices and responsibilities that people can't understand unless they walk that walk. So we honor the family of Charles L. Blockson, as well as honoring the memory and the legacy when we call upon the name of the ancestor Charles L. Blockson, because we know it's not always easy to have a famous and great family member. So in your time of grieving and bereavement, you know, we just want to make sure that we send you prayers and condolences and understand that the city and the world has truly been blessed by the seeds that he planted and continue to grow.
Dr. Smith, we can't thank you enough for just coming to share your time and your energy and your spirit with us, to talk about this incredible human being, you know, to share with us the stories that you have about this incredible human being, as I'm hearing, walked softly but carried a big stick, as my grandmother would say. But that's a beautiful thing to know, this strong Black man. You know, it feels good to hear all of this about him and his legacy and his life. And you're absolutely right. We send our condolences, our love, healing energy, and we send prayers for comfort in this time to his family, his friends, and his loved ones. That's just, it's amazing that you were able to spend time with him, time, space, and energy with him.
No, it's a beautiful, and shouts out to Norristown, because I think I heard him speak 3 times, and each time he did talk about Norristown. So you know, he was educated in Norristown. I like to represent where I'm from, Montclair, New Jersey. I know W.B. Du Bois was always, you know, talking about where he was from. You know, certain people just want people to know where they from, like DMX and Yonkers, you know, Yonkers. I'm sorry, DMX and Yonkers, or Fat Joe and the DX. You know, it's like some people want you to know. So I
yes, they do.
Because he's a product of, you know, like people poured into his life, you know, from that area as well. And I'm sure it's, when you have a son, you know, a native son that's your own, it's important for that community that make, you know, these people who they are to be recognized as well. So I say it in jest, but I'm serious in the fact that I'm thankful for that community that helped to rear and to raise Charles L. Blockson. So shouts out to you, North.
You know, to that point, that's a good thing. Repping from where you come, that shows that you didn't forget from where you came, right?
Too many forget,
like,
right?
Listen.
They say, where you from? They say, Duke. They say, nah, you wasn't born at Duke. Now you might have got a degree. You from Jersey City now.
There you have it. That's why I say, look, I'm from South Philly, born and bred. I say it all the time. Thank you so much, Dr. Smith, for stopping by. Like, again, we just can't thank you enough. We can't thank you enough. I hope that you will come to visit more often and share some more of your knowledge with us.
They send me the link. I jump on there.
Absolutely.
Penn State, Norristown. I mentioned Paul Robeson earlier, and he was also a star athlete. You know, I just want to, you know, tell some people some of the things, because a lot of my athletes sometimes don't think it's in the cards for them, you know, to be a curator or to be a collector, right? So it's beautiful to see these star athletes, right? Because some people might put them in a different category when they hear his story. So I want to make sure I include that component. You know, this is a star athlete / curator / historian / scholar, right? So people can understand you could be the star athlete, and you can also be a star with the books.
You sure can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I'm so glad. No, I'm so glad that you reiterated that. I am so glad that you reiterated, because it is. You're right. It's such an important point to make. And like I always say, look, we talk about communication here. We talk about communicating. We talk about communication. And sometimes it's just necessary to say some things. Sometimes it's necessary for us to hear some things repeated to us, you know, in order for it to penetrate. So
at the block party, all the you know, all these wonderful dynamic women, you know, that are in charge of the museum, and sisters that got it together, right? And I kept asking people, I'm always interested in that human story. Like, how'd you get here? You know, what made you interested? Every last one of them said the stories my family told. Everyone. And if anybody was listening about the block party, y'all heard them interviews. Every last one of them said, listening to my family tell stories about military, about growing up, about overcoming racism. And I say, we come from that tradition. This tradition that Charles Blockson was preserving is what makes us who we are, preserving culture. That's what guides us. It's not
That
these majors and these TV shows. It's the stories that we're telling our children, the narrative, the worldview that we're embedding in them. Those seeds are growing into amazing, dynamic people. But if we're not telling any stories, and we're letting the video games and the TV shows and the rap music tell the story, then it's not a surprise, why we end up the way we end up. So, like you said, the whole thing about where you're from, tell your story.
I definitely want to have you come back and talk with us
Anytime.
about our journeys and from yesteryear to today. So we're going to talk, Dr. Smith, about having you come and share some more of your knowledge with
Anytime.
us. Once again, thank you. Thank you so
y'all.
much. Thank you for coming to visit with us. Family, if you have just joined us, you are tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. We've just talked with Dr. Aaron Smith, who has shared with us about the life and legacy of Charles L. Blockson, the prominent historian, leader, and scholar and collector that has passed on, who died at the age of 89. I did tell you that we have another incredible guest that I do want you to meet, and you are going to do so. Before that, though, I want to take a moment to go back to our socials and say hello to our family members who are checking in. Joey Dixon, hi there, brother Joey. He writes, peace, word family, one love, and jazz to you. Miss Cheryl Brown writes, Niall, good evening, and thank you for booking wonderful guests. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. We love Niall. Nico writes, peace and love, Carol and Word family, from someone who spent 18 years in a toxic work environment. I can relate to all that has been said. I'm looking forward to the next conversation with Sister Future. You know what? We are going to dig deep into all of that. We really are, Nico. I promise you we will. Timothy writes, hello, Carol Riddick. Hi, Timothy. Hey there. Thank you for joining us again. I'm so happy to see you here. Heather Wilson. Hey, Heather. She writes, hello, lady. I appreciate you all and your energy and that you are sharing your time and space with us. Miss Cheryl, she says she was glad to see Dr. Smith. Glad to see him and always looking forward to hearing him drop knowledge. Heather writes that she's truly loving this. So listen, family, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take a short commercial break in a moment. But when we come back, we're going to talk with our next guest, who is another extraordinary human being. He specializes in videography and photography and is the founder of Creative Mind Productions. Having sought photography as a creative outlet that ultimately changed his life, he formed Shoot Cameras, Not Guns, an endeavor aimed at creating gun violence awareness and avenues of creative expression through photography for youth. I cannot wait to talk with him about this endeavor and to find out about his journey. And I'm hopeful that you want to know about his journey too. Before we go to commercial break, some more family members are checking in. Joey, hey there, Joey. Joey Beans Little. Hey, you, it's written all over your face. He writes, hello, lady. Hi there. So happy to see you here. It's been a long time, Joey, but glad to know that you are with us too. So family, like I said, we're going to take just a short commercial break, but don't forget, comment on our socials. Let us know that you're here and ready to join the conversation, or you can call me too. You can do that by dialing 215-634-8065, or you can call me toll free. And you can do that by dialing 1-866-361-0900. Whatever you do, though, make sure you stay with us, okay? Because we're going to take just a little short commercial break, but we will be right back.
Ashiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids, and our future. We're so grateful for all you do. Now, it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
We know the world is crazy. There's a never-ending stream of negativity constantly flowing by our ears. We need daily reminders that joy is essential. WURD Radio offsets the awful with daily words of joy and empowerment. These are on-air messages meant to uplift our spirit. We invite you, the WURD listener, to share your words of joy and empowerment with us. You can read a brief poem, share a favorite inspirational quote, an empowering story, or a passage from a book. Just call 215-425-7875, extension 107, and leave your words of joy and empowerment on the voicemail. Please make sure your message is 1 minute or less. It will be helpful to use a timer to stay on track. We look forward to broadcasting your words of joy and empowerment. We are WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. I was telling you before the break that I have another incredible guest that I want you to meet. Family, I invite you to meet none other than Vernon Ray. Well, hello there. How are you?
Hey, how are you? How you
I
doing?
will not complain. I want to say thank you first for being so patient with us. We have a lot going on today. We have an action-packed day. So thank you for your patience, because I'm definitely excited for our family members to hear all about your journey and all about what you're doing. So thank you again.
No problem. I'm excited to be here. I was sitting back the whole time listening to everybody speak. I'm like, oh, it's almost my turn. Take your time. Take your time.
I know that's right. Listen, I know I've been there before. Like, wait, well, all right, take your time. Just slow down even.
Sure.
So I want to jump in because, well, first of all, you have to come back and visit us because we have so little time to talk with you, but I want to know everything about what you're doing. When I was reading of your story, I read that you saw photography as a creative outlet, and it changed your life completely. Can you talk with us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. How much time do we really got? Because the story be really long. But
Well, the show is over at 9:00, so
I'm gonna give you the short version, and then we can just kind of figure it out along the way.
Okay.
But photography for me, when I found photography as this creative outlet that it has become, it was about art for me from the beginning. I started off as an artist, drawing, painting, and I'm gonna just throw this in there real quick. I just had my first art show real quick, and I sold out. It was amazing.
Congrats!
It came through. I can't wait to show the world more of my work. But that's where it started. Everything started there as just me drawing, sketching, just being able to bring this fun creative side out. And photography, once I got involved with it, it was almost like destiny. Everything is kind of connected, and I would say like how people responded to the way that I was creating was more attractive to me as well. So it was like, what, I got to do more. In the very, very beginning, I was incarcerated for several years. When I came home from prison, it was really not as easy as people might try to make it out to be, to get a job that can sustain you, you and your family. So I was like, how can I make this work? The first thing I decided to do was just make a decision to not go back. And the second thing was to try to get involved with something that I know how to do very, very well. And again, I couldn't find a job. I couldn't figure it out. Involved with all the ex-offender programs, any and everything that I could possibly be involved with, but nothing seemed to go over 720. What was it? 725, 750 an hour, something like that. It was nothing seemed to go above and beyond that. I remember this one time I was on my way back to the halfway house, and it might be a lot, but I'm just giving it up anyway.
No. I appreciate that.
I was on my way back to the halfway house. I was supposed to be probably like 8:15 or whatever. But I stopped past the club, listening to friends, stopped past the club, and I seen this guy. He running around spinning, doing all these moves with his camera, snapping these shots. And at that time, cell phones didn't have cameras on them. I think the first camera phone that came out was like a Metro phone. It was like a little purple phone, had a little camera on it. And I remember snapping shots around the halfway house and around the school that I was in. I went to Orleans Tech, and of course the different programs that I was in. But when I saw this guy moving and shaking with that camera, I'm like, man, I can do that. You know, I watch how he interact with people and stuff like that, and I'm like, man, I can do that. And that was honestly, that was the real inspiration behind me actually grabbing the camera. You know, because I didn't see photography as a way to make money. I just thought of it as a fun way to kind of create. But once
like an outlet.
Once I seen it as a tool to make money, and people actually love taking photos in the fashion that he was doing in the clubs, that was my first step. So the small job that I could get, I saved my little money, got a little help from my family members, my sister, and it was all she wrote from there. I got my first camera, and I just started to be around. Finally got out of the halfway house, lived with my sister for a while, and she just really helped and supported me throughout that process and that journey. Shout out to a few other people that did as well, man. You know, they know who they are. I really, really appreciate them in that journey. But it was a lot. I mean, again, we don't got a lot of time to get so deep into it, but that very beginning portion of it, you know, it was more about making a decision and following through, and that's what I did.
I love your transparency. I just really feel compelled to say to you that I so appreciate you being transparent. That's what I do here. They know all my business, but it's so important that we do share and we communicate with each other. So I appreciate you being transparent and sharing with us, and your diligence, and the fact that you said, look, okay, this is what it is now, but this is what I'm going to make it tomorrow.
Absolutely.
You know, so I so appreciate that. And not only did you have that mindset, you know, you put it into action as it pertains to others. So you're trying to help our youth. I love that. Love. So kudos to you. Kudos to you for the work that you did on you. And listen, we're all a work in progress as far as I see it. I'm still working on me. So
listen, all of us are. It's so much more to the story. I kind of like scaled the tip of it all, but I think that
tell us. Listen, you don't have to. Don't you sugarcoat. You don't have to filter. You talk to us. Listen, talk to us.
Well, I'm gonna say this then. Once things started to get a move on, and I started to really understand what my path was looking like. It really inspired other young men in the halfway house to shape up. Because once I got in there, I was about my business. I was like, look, man, I'm not going back. I don't care what y'all doing. I'm not going back. So the first place I went was the counselor's office. I said, well, miss, what can I do to make sure that I stay out here? Because I'm not going back. That decision right there was so big for me, because once you make a decision in your mind, your body follows, and everything started to formulate, meaning like the right people started to become introduced to my life. Certain people that were detrimental to my goals or anything that I wanted to do that was positive, they started to fall short. And it was more of a mental thing for me to be able to heal, because being out after being gone for so long, the first thing you think of is I need to get back. I need to get on. I need to be like this or like that. You don't think about stepping back, taking the time to really, really plan out your next steps most of the time, because it's all in your face. You see the guys that be out there around your age driving the nice cars. They got all this money. I was on a bus and walking. I didn't even have no clothes or nothing. I came home to a big t-shirt, some big jeans that was cool back when I left, and everything my other stuff was gone. So it was crazy.
But I think we put so much importance on so many things that they just don't mean anything in the scheme of life. And what you did was what was important. What you did was necessary. And what you did turned out to be fruitful, in the most positive way. Like you shifted your focus, you shifted your mindset. You said, okay, when you came out, all of this was in your face, and you were saying, but it's so easy. It is so easy. It's so easy when you see everything in front of you, and especially and particularly things that you feel like, well, I want that too. It's so easy to become lost. Listen, we're human. We're all human.
But
We are so human.
One thing for sure, I try my hardest not to get lost in that. I'm
Mhm.
gonna fast forward the story just a bit.
Okay.
Once I kind of got into the groove of figuring out what I wanted, I got involved with this magazine company called Philly Bread Magazine. That magazine company was just a magazine outlet that pretty much highlighted, of course, the cool things that were going on in the city, just the news, and just the similar to what's going on out here with a lot of other outlets, just the entertainment side of Philadelphia and the people in it. That organization introduced me to the club scene. Once I got involved with the club scene, I brought my professionalism and things that I've learned over time to that scene. But at the same time, my hunger, I wasn't there to really make a bunch of friends. I wasn't there to look like the dude in the room. My ambition was to survive. Like I was literally in survival mode. So I did what I needed to do and carried myself in the ways that I needed to carry myself professionally to be able to stand out amongst the rest of the shooters. Because I was a self-taught photographer. It was like I had no clue about video. I just knew I just worked and played with my camera as much as I could till I figured it out. And once I did, I got in them clubs and took over the scene for several years in a row. I have 15 years on this entire business. And when I tell you, I in order for you to become great, you got to go into a situation and make mistakes. Be okay with making mistakes. What they say, fall forward or something like that. Fall forward, and that was just the mindset. I just didn't. It wasn't about being embarrassed or feeling away if somebody see me mess up. It was about, okay, what did I learn from that, and how can I be better with that? Never really paying attention to anybody else paying attention to me. All the years of representing myself in that survival mode, in that respective way that I know how to do, moving with integrity and stuff like that. Never really realized that there was so many people watching me move. So it became, oh, that's Mr. CMP. Oh, that's All Money Shots. They just was like, yo, when he in the building, we know we in the right place. It was all of those different types of things.
Look, I came through there. I came through there with Carla Gamble. I was unaware, and I love your work. I love you. We came All Money Shots. We sure did. Carla said, I know this amazing photographer. We're going to go get some shots done for a project on which we were working. It's like, he's amazing.
Oh,
even the space, the space as well. And you all were so, very professional, and the shots were just, they were just amazing. I kept saying, I recommended someone else to you, like 3 people. I said, it's phenomenal. I want to fast forward for a moment because I'm getting so lost in time because I'm so wrapped in what you're sharing. But I do want to share with our family members too. So Creative Mind Productions, talk with us about that, please, if you will.
Creative Mind Productions was born through art. Well, again, when I was away in prison, one of my hustles, one of my ways to survive there was to draw portraits and what is it, like the birthday cards and the thank you cards and things like that. Those were just my ways of being able to get by. It's like, all right, listen, man, 1 for 15, 2 for 25. Like I was in there just moving them,
hustling, right?
Portraits, selling portraits of people, their mothers, grandmothers, families. I would just draw it out, sell it to them. And I couldn't figure out a name. I'm like, Creative Mind. something creative mind this, creative mind that, and I just knew that the creative mind part of it was me. I felt like that was me, to make it as a production made it sound professional. While I was, I'm gonna join from the bottom of my picture.
Listen, it was professional.
It wasn't until years later, once I was released, that I was able to LLC it and get all of the business stuff together. But that's where it was born. The mission of it was for me to be able to be okay creatively expressing myself. Right. I tell my students all the time. I say there's no wrong way to be creative. And the reason why I say that is because there isn't. You can't put creativity in a box. You can't break that thing down and hold it within anything, because it flows like water. It's just no wrong way to do it. You really can't find a way.
I say that all the time. All the time. It's not contrived in any way. So I'm curious to know. Well, I have so many questions, Vernon. OMG. So, I want to talk about shoot cameras, not guns. I want to talk about that endeavor, but I also, before we go there, I want to know what are some of the workshops that you provide at Creative Mind Productions?
So some of the workshops that we do provide involves people that are just interested in photography. We teach them the entry level version of what it takes to be a photographer, in studio photographer though.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll follow up when you're done.
That's all good. So entry level photography in studio is just basically understanding what are the right tools for the job, how to work those different tools, different settings, different lighting setups, and combinations of lighting to be able to achieve different looks. Just understanding workflow, right tool for the right job, and teamwork, how y'all can work together to make something move through a little faster. So most of the people that attend the workshops leave with some sort of skill that they can literally make money a few days out of the workshop. It is crazy.
Oh, wow. So is there a specific age group with which you work for the workshops?
At one point, it wasn't an age group. I was working with little kids all the way up to, adults. Like I'm talking like 45, 50, 60-year-old individuals. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, you know what, to be more effective, let's go for at least 12 to 14 years old. You know what I'm saying? Let's go 12 to maybe 50 years old. Like it is no limit. I think everybody should have the right to learn how to express themselves creatively in a different form, such as photography or videography.
And develop a new skill along the way. Yeah. And you never listen, and you never know. I mean, like with you, because it sounds like, this skill, it was innate. It was just waiting to come out. It just needed the right outlet, and we don't know. You never know. You might be creating the next, what do you want to call it? There you go. Listen. We don't know. So, okay. I definitely want to get into, I want to know more about, and I want to share with our family members.
Yeah.
First of all, for those who are interested in the workshops, how do they participate, or how do they find out more information?
So right now, we do not offer them at this very moment, only because I'm in a fundraising mindset right now. I'm in the transitioning with different studios at the moment. I still have access to the same studio that I was using, but I'm not there as one of the partners anymore. So I'm looking for a different space, particularly geared towards workshops and just teaching, because I want to teach a lot more than I actually shoot. I'm just at that age. I'm at that time of my life, and I really want to get this game up before it's too late. Anything can happen, who knows? But I pray that it don't happen anytime soon before I give this game up. I want to make sure that I leave my mark properly. And I think that education is the way to do that. You know what I'm saying? Again, the art show was called Remnant, Leaving Pieces of Me Behind. And it was just heavy for me to make sure that I educate my son, educate those that are inspired by what we do, people that are interested. It makes it easier for them to retain that information and want to be around for those teaching sessions, stuff like that. But what are you gonna say? Go ahead.
So I was going to ask really quickly before the commercial break, where was the art show?
Where
did it take place?
Posh and Bloom. Posh and Blue. I'll tell you more about it after the break, but it was amazing setup. I wish I could have plugged in some video or something from it.
Man.
But I'll share some with you after this. Like that way you gotta check it out. It was on my Instagram too. So yeah.
Well, you know what, and this is what we're going to do too, because I want our family members to know more about you. So when we come back from the break, family, I'm going to ask Vernon to share with us his social media information and the website, so you all can look to see some of the things that Creative Mind Productions has done. And when we come back, we're also going to talk about the endeavor that he for which he is responsible. Shoot cameras, not guns. I cannot wait to hear all about that. Family, stay with us, okay? Because we are coming right back.
I love it.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling. The limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
Need a minute? Take a breath and breathe in positivity. Here are words of joy and empowerment from WURD Radio.
This is Valerie Harrison, Vice President for Public Affairs at Temple University. The power, purpose, and possibility of Black women are clear. While we can be very different, we share the authenticity of Maya Angelou, the community-mindedness of Ella Baker, the courage of Harriet Tubman, and the elegance and grace of Coretta Scott King. We bring our whole selves to every experience. Remember who you are. You are a light in darkness. You are the best of what it means to be human. I'm Valerie Harrison.
This joy and empowerment vignette was brought to you by Comcast.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love is.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. While we have just a few minutes left before the close of show, I do want to recognize some of our family members who've been hanging out with us on our socials that I didn't get to recognize earlier. I want to say hello to Melissa Gamble. She writes, hello, good show. My first time catching it. Well, welcome, Melissa. We are happy to have you here. Timothy Robinson. Hey, Tim. Tim's still hanging out with us. He writes, congrats, bro. He just writes that, he wrote a lot, but he did write congrats, bro. And he's feeling your journey, the story that you shared about your journey. Shot Fixer writes, great show. So thank you so much. Those of you who are still joining us, Miss Cheryl Mobley Stimpson. Hi there. Hi there. She writes, we have strong history in South Philly. Yes, we do. As Peasy. She writes, the entire city started here. That's right. South Philly proud. Me too. That's right. She writes, heartbroken to hear that we've lost Charles Blockson. Yeah. Yes, indeed. So, okay, since we have, so little time left, and again, Vernon, you've got to come back to visit with us so we can hear some.
I can't wait to really give that raw, uncut version of the story. Like I really want people to understand that it's not over till it's over. You know what I'm saying? Because they counted me out, and here we are today, still pushing. You understand? Like it's serious.
It is. No, it is. It is. We have purpose. We definitely have purpose. And so please talk with us. Share with us first your socials and your website. And then please talk with us about shoot cameras, not guns.
Without a doubt. So my social media is All Money Shots. That's on Instagram. It's All Money Shots, one word. We also have our Shoot Cameras Not Guns CMP page as well, which is at Shoot Cameras Not Guns CMP. Make sure you follow both of those pages. Can I plug something in real quick?
Absolutely.
All right, so we do have the 40 shots for $40 special. For those of you that do not know what that is, that's 20 headshots, 24 body shots within a 15-minute session. And you get to walk with your photos the same day, like the same day. You cannot beat that. There are so many people that have tried it, but they have not succeeded. I wish them nothing but the best, but the originator, none greater, is here. I want y'all to make sure y'all check it out when we do drop some dates in July. So stay tuned for that. But make sure y'all follow All Money Shots on Instagram, and also Shoot Cameras Not Guns CMP as well on Instagram. Oh, the website, shootcamerasnotgunscmp.com.
Okay. So can you talk with us about the endeavor itself?
Yeah, so Shoot Cameras Not Guns, one of our goals is to basically provide our youth and adults with an alternative way of thinking, alternative way of acting on just being involved with violent things. You understand what I'm saying? It's very self-explanatory. Shoot cameras, not guns. You know what I'm saying? Like, you rather make the mothers cry, you rather make them smile. I'd rather make the mothers smile with their children. You understand what I'm saying? So end of day, when I look at what Shoot Cameras Not Guns meant to me, I can just remember the time when we even came up with that slogan. Never even thought in a million years I would even be, experiencing what I experienced. But we were already doing workshops and stuff like that. And unfortunately, I've lost two of my younger cousins to gun violence. And every time I talk about this story, it take me right back to walking down that lane, approaching that casket with my son every single time. And just watching my 20-year-old cousin just laid out there. I could just remember him as a baby. And it's like, damn, it's over now. At 20, he's so young. And I think about it all the time. I think about it all the time. My son is 17. He'll be 18 this year. When this happened, he was 16. I think he just turned 16 as well. Yeah, he just turned 16. And walking down that aisle, looking at that casket, standing there with him, I'm holding him, I'm crying. He see me crying. I'm looking at him. He's like crying, but not crying. Like, I guess he's I don't know what he was doing, but I was letting it go. And in my heart, I was thinking to myself, I said, that's the my ability. Something gotta be. I'm still there. I'm still in.
Yeah, we had
you
a
hear
slight.
me still?
We can. We did lose you for just a short moment, but go right ahead.
Okay, so I told him, I said, man, this will not happen to you. I'm gonna do everything in my power for this not to happen to you. And I remember walking off and feeling just guilty because as I was walking away from the casket, I seen my cousin's mother, and I just couldn't look her in the eyes because I had my son and she didn't. And I just was like, man, like that feeling alone. And I watched her just cry and just like rocking in the chair, just doing what moms do under them circumstances. And I can remember leaving there, and I called my brother, Big Smiles, my partner. And I'm like, bro, I said, man, we got to do something. He like, well, what's up? Pause for a minute. I'm just like, man, shoot cameras, not guns, man. It's just that simple. We need to help these young boys understand that shoot a camera over a gun any day. And that just became the mission. It just became the mission. It was just that simple for us. And once we put a name to the movement that we were already doing, it started to get light, and as people started to gravitate towards it. See, what I understand, and this is just in business and selling and being able to market and promote, once you create something that's catchy and relatable, people start to pay attention. They start to see it. Imagination is the key to creation. You understand what I'm saying? So if you can imagine it, create it, like people are going to just lock in. And once we had that, it was just catchy. People were like, oh, shoot cameras, not, oh, that's one. And then people started to just want to understand, how can they get involved? What is it actually? Like, what are you doing? And we just was like, well, here's what we're doing. And moving forward, that once the program started, once the campaign started, I ended up losing another cousin who was a part of the beginning of the program. And that ripped me a new one. I was just so torn and hurt and frustrated that and we lost him over just some nonsense. He was just trying to break up a fight. And,
Oh,
and
wow.
he got hit 3 times in the chest. It tore me apart. I couldn't believe it. And I remember, at his janaza, lowering him into the grave, just bringing his body close to me. that tore me apart again. And it's like, no, this got to stop. It's got to stop. We started doing workshops called Sound Off, where we talk about mental health and trauma and conflict resolution, where we get all of these young men and women, even their parents, in one room. And we let the parents know, parents, this is your time now to shut up and listen. These kids need to be heard. They are hurting. They are dealing with so much pain and so much of things that we just can't even fathom. We may think because we're older, we've been through it all and understand, but we don't know exactly until they say.
Yeah, we don't know the half of it.
Right? We don't know where they until they say.
Yeah.
So it just turned from one thing to another, and the workshop started doing really well. We started getting very large crowds, which resulted in us needing bigger spaces. Just trying to make sure that people understand the mission. It was just hard trying to do all of these things because it's my first time doing so much of this organizing on my own, and then with my team, a lot of us, it was our first time just doing something on such a grand scale. I'm not afraid to say that because I was getting a lot of things wrong. I was not putting the right paperwork in and things to try to get funding. I wasn't doing nothing right. Everything was feeling like it was wrong. But I said to myself, as long as people understand what this mission is and these kids are showing up and they're actually being helped, I said, that's what matters to me. Hopefully one day we get somebody that believe in us, see what we're doing, and step in and decide to help us. Shout out to Salima, of course, Salima McNeil. She stepped in, she helped out and created new opportunities. Of course, I said Big Smiles, Derek, let me see who else. It was a few, a friend of mine named Fee, a few other friends that just would step in and just try to help out as much as they possibly could to really keep the ball rolling, knowing that I didn't know, but I was able to bring the crowds and I was able to give the information. I was able to provide the experience, but I just was not experienced enough in building.
But that's where your village came in. Like you just said, you just named members of your village. And quite honestly, I talk about that often right here in this space, talk about, us rebuilding our village. I miss that. And I used to hear my parents, my aunts, uncles, cousins who are older than I talk about our village. And quite honestly, I did have experience with that because they looked out for me when I was little, the village that we had. We are still a tribe, and so it is definitely, we need to get back. Listen, we need to get back to looking out for one another and taking care of one another. And that's what yours did. Family. I hate that we're coming upon this time of the show. I know, because there's so much more I want to hear from you, but don't fret, family, because Vernon is going to come back to visit with us again. Vernon Ray, to be exact, is going to come back to visit with us again. Listen, if you did not hear earlier, he did share his website, which is Shoot Cameras Not Guns, CMP. And he did share his IG as well, which is All Money Shots, one of which is All Money Shots. Yes. So please do check them out. You know what I'm going to say as we wrap up tonight's episode. I extend my utmost gratitude to each and every one of you for your continued support of Love and Life. And to our new family members, welcome. We do hope that you will join us again. We here extend our condolences to the family and loved ones of the late, great Charles L. Blockson, the historian, scholar, leader, and collector whom we lost at the age of 89. Special thanks to our guests future Cain, Dr. Aaron Smith, and to you, Mr. Vernon Ray, for sharing your time, your energy, your attention, your knowledge, and your attention with us. It is truly appreciated. To our callers, each and every one of you, Friendly Fred, Brother Ron, Miss Luna, Miss Audrey, and to those who join the conversation via our socials, each and every one of you, you know that I love you too. Additional special thanks to the entire WURD family, especially Miss Kayla J. and Niall Jax for all that you do. Family, you know I'm going to say it because I say it every single show. We are all in this together. Do you hear me? We are all in this together. So you be good to you, but you make sure that you are good to those around you. Okay? You do that. You have a great night. And you be sure to join me Monday through Thursday, 7 till 9 p.m. Eastern Time for another edition of Love and Life right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Have a good night, y'all.
Hey.
Hey Lisa, I've been seeing those pics you post of you and your family at all those fun events. What gives?
Oh, VetTix.
What's VetTix?
VetTix is an amazing charity